Welcome to another Cornish Gamers Game Spotlight episode with me, Vesna. Well, it looks like we're back in 1997 this week, the business simulation theme hospital. It was developed by the venerable and now defunct Bullfrog Productions. These are also the same guys who developed the Populous and Dungeon Keeper franchises, for those of you who played any of those games. At the mention of business simulation, I get the feeling that many of you had a panic attack and promptly stopped watching. I don't particularly blame you, but keep in mind that this is a business simulation of a hospital. In the right hands, this kind of simulation would be absolutely fantastic. Of course, this is Game Spotlight, so Bullfrog were the right hands. Well, at least according to random YouTube guy number 3,181,193. A game about managing a hospital is black comedy gold, with the possibility of creating truly wacky illnesses. Illnesses like bloaty head, that's apparently really uncomfortable, King syndrome, in which the sufferer dresses like Elvis, or invisibility. All in all, Theme Hospital is a light-hearted game, and it's always funny to see what weird illness some poor soul has contracted, and what the cure for it is. Take bloaty head as an example. Does the patient require drugs and relaxation? Nope. Instead, a doctor literally pops their head like a balloon and then refills it with what I'm just going to assume is helium. It's all well and good that Theme Hospital is tongue-in-cheek and that the developer was creative when it came to the illnesses, but the important question is, how does it play? The game is pretty easy to get into, with construction of your hospital rooms as simple as dragging out an area, clicking on the walls to place a door and windows, and then left-clicking to place the necessary items. Meanwhile, if you find that one of your members of staff have left the post and popped into the staff room, then you can just pick up one of your other members of staff and dump them in the room and they'll get to work straight away. To complement this ease of management, both staff and patients have only a handful of needs that need attending to: warmth, happiness and hydration, or tiredness for the staff. Each one is easy to deal with, such as toilets for hydration or a staff room for tiredness. On top of this, it's easy to compare between doctors, nurses, handymen and receptionists, as they all only have one general ability bar that shows how competent they are. This makes hospital management streamlined. At no point should you think streamlined to mean easy. The later levels in the game require careful timing and a ton of micromanagement to succeed in. Even in the earlier levels, a few mistakes can easily kill a few of your patients and destroy your reputation, which means fewer patients, which in turn means a lower income, until eventually you'll just run straight into the ground with debts and general financial issues. Also, while every character only has a few needs, it does start to get very chaotic when, for example, half of your doctors feel the need to have a game of pool in the staff room all at the same time, right in the middle of a King syndrome emergency. This challenge presents a nice bit of replayability value, as one can refine their strategies to improve their overall performance in a level. Theme Hospital has a few of its own issues. The first one that I would like to mention, however, is one that will only affect anyone who would like to record footage of the game. As you've probably seen in the background of this video, there's a lot of stuttering, and that's because Theme Hospital doesn't seem to want to play nicely with Fraps, the software that I use to record. Though I've only used Fraps, so whether other recording software has any similar issues I cannot say. Another thing that I found quite frustrating is the lack of any camera rotation. Within minutes of starting a game, you're going to be placing items in such a way that a wall will be blocking your view, thus making placement difficult. Another little frustration is that it becomes unclear when the game is informing you that the currently selected item cannot be placed where you're trying to place it. This is because items become grayscale when you try to place them somewhere where they can't be placed. An overuse of place. This works for the most part, except for items like the radiator, that's mostly white except for a little bit of red in the corner. And being an old, very low resolution game, that teeny tiny indicator is very difficult to see on a modern computer with 720p upward resolutions. The next problem isn't the fault of the game or the developers. The game expects you to have a manual at the ready, if this is your first time playing, or it's been a long time since you last played and you've forgotten a lot of the controls and rooms. There is an in-game tutorial, but it's very limited to the utmost basics of gameplay, so again, you're expected to have a manual. This is most definitely not a problem for owners of the retail version, excluding those who have a habit of losing manuals. But for owners of the digital version, this can be a bit of a pain in the arse, as you'll have to alt-tab out the game if you ever need to check the manual, and pausing the game can lead to unintended side effects. Which takes me straight into the final big problem of Theme Hospital, the menu that's used when currently playing in a level. It requires that you hold down your mouse button while traversing it, and then release the button to select a command. For example, if you want to save a game, then you need to click on the File button, then go down to Save Game, and then select the space to save in, all the while still holding down the mouse button, and only releasing it when you're hovering over the Save Game file. Coming from pretty much any other game in existence, this can be incredibly frustrating, as the menu would appear to either be unresponsive or incredibly inaccurate to your mouse clicks, though in reality it's just that the developer chose an utterly bizarre method of control. Actually, there is just one more thing that's a little disappointing about Theme Hospital, and that's that there's no sandbox mode, though the fact that the levels in the game have a ridiculous amount of ways that they can be completed, and lots of opportunities to modify your strategy for a level, does make up for it a little. In the end though, I think it's safe to say that a lot of Theme Hospital's issues boil down to weird interface design decisions made by the developer. Other than what I've said, there really isn't much more that can be said about Theme Hospital, unfortunately. There is no multiplayer to mention, no expansion packs or DLC to speak of, and zero modding capabilities. Though, actually, there does seem to be an open source fan project to re-implement the game engine. From what I can gather, its goal is to allow Theme Hospital to be displayed in HD resolutions, possibly making my radiator problems vanish into lovely warm air, and to make it easier to run in the first place. It certainly seems to be something to keep an eye on, and is similar in method and goal to the DaggerXL project for the Elder Scrolls 2 Daggerfall. For those interested, the project is called Corsix-TH. As always, relevant links are in the description. If you enjoy management sims like Roller Coaster Tycoon or any other games developed by Bullfrog, then I would say that Theme Hospital is a must-buy. For general RTS players, then I would say that this is worth a look if you also take pride in making efficient bases and an efficient economy. Either way, you'll have to be someone who can deal with awful interface decisions. So thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. If you have any questions or suggestions, please email us at cornishgamers@gmail.com or simply make a comment below. Until next time, the GP's office is to your left, while helium storage is to your right. Please don't inhale the helium.